to Mr. Preston's Kitchen. Today, we are going to do sweet potatoes. We think we're gonna do some candied yams today. I think that'll be great with those sweet potatoes. Just know that now is the time, it's almost time for Thanksgiving, and we gotta try to figure out some kind of a dish to take home, you know, to the family and all that kind of great stuff. So today we're gonna do some sweet potatoes and we're gonna do candied yams, all right? So we're gonna get started. The first thing that we're gonna do is we're going to, what is it, ladies and gentlemen? Wash our hands, get sanitized, all right? So we're gonna start our water, get it nice. Grab our paper towel. We're gonna dry them off real good. Remember to take your paper towel and turn the water off, okay? And then we're gonna throw away the paper towel. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing I wanna do is I wanna thank one of the local churches that gave us some of the sweet potatoes to use today. I know that it's a pretty rough time right now, so sometimes we have to be able to go to the food bank and maybe use some food stamps, do whatever you gotta do to be able to eat. So we wanna make sure that we give credit to the churches that was able to donate some of these sweet potatoes to us today, okay? So sometimes they look a little weird, you know, but it's okay, all right? The biggest thing is that the sweet potato is really, really good on the inside. Okay, it's not about the outside, it's about what's on the inside. All right? So, to start, I kind of prepped myself a little ahead of time, and I took the sweet potatoes, looked like this, and now they look like this. Okay? So, we're going to take these sweet potatoes and we're gonna cut them up and get them ready so that they can be boiled off, okay? So I'm gonna close this back up because I don't want that water all over the counter. So, all right. So I have my pan ready. I try to choose a pan that I have a lid to that I can be able to see, okay? And it works out really, really great because then you don't have to lift it up to see what it is. You can be able to do it a little later. All right, so we're gonna put some water in this pot. And what I'm gonna do is once I get the water in the pot, okay, stick that right there for now. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put that on the stove. And I'm gonna turn it on high, okay? Now, I have to get out a knife. Now, for you young people that are not used to knives, make sure that you have a parent or someone around you to help you, to assist you with cutting, okay? So, but I always have a kind of a pretty sized knife, butchered knife, and then I have a paring knife, okay? Now, the paring knife is what I would use if I wanted to peel the potato, okay? So, I'm gonna show you how. Some people use a peeler, but I'm not used to that. I'm from the country, I'm from the South, so we don't use the paring knife too often, okay? So I take the knife and I kind of run it down the potato, okay? To take it and peel all that off of the potato. Okay? So we don't do the little fancy thing. We do the normal thing that we mostly do at home. Okay? And all those peelings that you have, we don't need them anymore. So we're gonna dispose of them, okay? Now, what I do is I take my knife and you hold your fingers like you want to try to dig into something, okay? So you hold it there, you take your knife and you apply some pressure and you cut the potato in half, okay? This will help you to be able to put it on its side so it'll make it a lot easier to cut, okay? Then I cut it again, apply some pressure, cut it into 4s. I take the 2 and I cut them into 3s. Now, this depends on how big the potato really is, okay? Will determine how many slits that you will do. All right? So we will take those potatoes and we will put them in the pan, okay? To get them ready to be boiled. Okay, everybody, so while the potatoes are going, these are some of the items that I use for the sweet potato, okay? Well, for the yams, we'll call it that, all right? So I use a little cinnamon, I use some nutmeg, I use a little honey, I use brown sugar, and I use white sugar. And then the best ingredient ever is the butter. Is the butter. Now it's time to check our potatoes to see if they are ready. Okay? Now be careful because it can be very hot. All right? Yeah, they are ready. The potatoes doesn't stick to the fork as we poke them. So we can turn this off. All right? And then we prepare ourselves in the sink, okay? So you get you a little strainer or something like that to be able to drain the water and stuff off of the potatoes, all right? Now, this particular pan, it doesn't get hot on the edges, so I'm able to touch them. But just on the safe side, for those that might not have those types of pots to be able to do that, you always get you 2 handy towels or mittens or whatever you want to call them, that type of thing to help you with touching it. All right? So we're going to pour the potatoes into the strainer, and you always pour away from you so that the steam doesn't get you in your face. Okay? So we pour away. All right? Now, with the potatoes still being hot, all right, we're gonna transpose that over to a pan, some kind of a baking pan. This particular one is one I had in my cabinet, which I bake wedding cakes and stuff like that with. So we're gonna multitask with this today, okay? So, let me get a knife here. And I'm going to open up my butter so that my butter will be a little soft and it'll be easy to melt. Okay? So I'm just going to kind of get that open. And I use an unsalted butter. All right? All right. Now, until then, I'm going to take some cinnamon and we're going to sprinkle cinnamon all over the potatoes. All right. Then I'm going to take some nutmeg. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to sprinkle all over the potatoes. Then I take a little honey and I kind of drizzle it all over the potatoes. And all these things are to taste, so it depends on what kind of taste buds you have. I'm from the South, so we like to put a lot Okay? So I take some regular sugar and I sprinkle regular sugar. So that's about, I would say, 2 tablespoons of regular sugar over these potatoes. Now, with brown sugar, you can't do that with a spoon. It's a little bit more impacted, so you got to use your hands for that. But I kind of sprinkle that all over the potatoes as well. I just do 2 handfuls of sugar. All right. Then I take my butter and I cut my butter all over the potatoes. Now take in mind, some people might say, oh my God, that's a lot of butter. I'm in the South. This is what we do. Okay? So I want to make sure that I have enough butter to coat. All right? So I did maybe about a stick and a half of butter on there. Now, I'm going to take this and I'm going to roll it around. Roll. We're going to roll it around. We're going to roll. And we're going to flip it around. We're going to roll. And as you do that, you're going to see all this butter starting to melt because the potatoes were hot. Remember? All right. So that's what it's going to look like for right now. All right? Now, for me, because I coated one side of it, I'm going to add just a little bit more. Remember, Mr. Preston just don't like one. Mr. Preston likes 2. So we're going to sprinkle a little bit more on there. Just to make sure we got that taste that we want. All right. Now I'm not going to put too much more sugar on it because the sugar is already sweetened enough. So we're not going to do that. But now we're going to take this pan and we're going to put it in the oven. And we're going to let it bake off. Okay? And there we go. We're going to let it bake for about 20 or 30 minutes. And then I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. All right. So now we're going to check on our potatoes and see if they are ready. Well, let's say we're going to check on our yams. We're going to see if they are ready. Hold on. All right. Look at that. They are nice and brown, and you see the juice. It gives you a little juice and stuff that's in there that comes from the butter. And we turn off our oven, and so that's our candy yams. So thank you so much for coming, and I look forward to seeing and hearing. Please leave me a message. Let me know what you're thinking. Also, too, give me some ideas of what you think that you would like for me to be able to prepare for you all. All right? Talk to you soon.